morning, guys. Today we are going to discuss about a few CSS interview important questions. Guys. Let me see what is CSS, guys. First, what is CSS? It's a cascading style sheets, right? Yeah, it is a popular styling language which is used with what HTML to design the websites. It can also be used with any XML documents, including plain XML, SVG, XUL. So simply CSS is to add the styles, guys, extra styles, okay? In order to decorate the web page, okay, which is designed with HTML, we use what? CSS, guys. We can add some styles to the web page. What is the origin of CSS? SGML, guys. These are all derived from where? SGML, Standard Generalized Markup Language, is the origin of CSS. Even origin of HTML is also same, SGML only. See, it is a language that defines what? Markup languages. All markup languages are derived from this standard generalized markup language. And what are the different variations of CSS? Yeah, there are different variations of CSS are there. Versions of CSS 1, 2, 2.1, 3, 4. Like, see, how can you integrate CSS on a web page? See, there are three methods to integrate the CSS on web page. Okay. This is inline. It is used inside the style sheets in HTML document. See, directly we can insert or we can add this style sheet in HTML. Okay, and embedded or internal method. It is used to add a unique style to a single document. Okay, and it is linked or external method. External method means what? We can write it as a separate file. Okay, and then we can include, guys, guys. Inline means directly to a particular tag we can add some style. Okay, for example, h1 tag is there, h1 and its attribute, we can add the attribute style attribute. We can define that style attribute value color colon red. This is how we can what add a particular style, add a style to a particular tag. That is example for this is what, guys? h1, okay, style tag, style is equals to, right, color colon red. This is how we can add a style to a particular tag. That is inline, guys. That is inline. And the second method is what? Using style tag. We can use style tag here. Inline means what? We can use some. Sorry, this is style tag using internal method, right? Using style tag, we can use style tag. So this is how we can use. We can define. Okay. Or like this also we can define this. For example, h1 tag is there. h1 tag like color is equals to color colon red. This is how also we can define. And the third one is what? We can write it as a separate file, guys. Okay, like h1 style.css file. Okay, using link tag we can link the CSS file with the HTML file. This is how we can do that. What are the advantages of CSS? Yes, we can add more styles, right? We can add more styles, so the look and feel of a web page would be so good, improve. See, bandwidth, site-wide consistency, yes, page confirmation, reformatting, and accessibility, content separated from presentation. Yes, guys, site-wide consistency is maintained, guys. Okay, we can add a similar style to the entire web page. The look and feel of a particular site would be consistently maintained. What are the limitations of CSS? The ascending by selectors is not possible. Limitations of vertical control, no expressions, okay, and no column declarations. Pseudo classes not controlled by the dynamic behavior. These are all some few disadvantages and limitations of CSS. And what are the CSS framework, guys? CSS frameworks. The well-known CSS framework is what? Bootstrap, guys. Bootstrap. See, pre-planned libraries, which makes easy and more standard compliant web page styling, guys. Compliant web page style. The frequently used CSS frameworks are what? Bootstrap, Foundation, Schematic UI. These are UL Kit. One of the most popular one is Bootstrap. Why background and color are the separate properties if they should always be set together? There are two reasons behind this, guys. Okay, background and color. What are the why background and color are the separate properties if they should always be set together? It enhances the eligibility, guys. It enhances the legibility of style sheets, guys. And color is an inherited property while the background is not. This is what color is inherited property while the background is not. So this can make the confusion further. That's what the background property is a complex property in CSS, guys. And if it is combined with color, the complexity will further increases. It might be the reason of separating these two properties. Okay. And what is embedded style sheets? Embedded style sheet, guys. Embedded means what? Here, see, we can include in the style sheets, guys. Style attribute. We can include them in a style attribute. See. An embedded style sheet is a CSS style specification method used with HTML. You can embed the entire style sheet in an HTML. This is style tag we can embed into HTML. So that whatever the styles that we have defined under will be applicable to this body tag as well as a head1 tag. What are the advantages of embedded style sheets? Yes, we can create a classes for use on multiple tag types in the document. You can use selector and grouping methods to apply styles in complex situations. No extra download is required to import the information. See, guys, what is selectors? What is selectors? See, it is a string that identifies the elements to which a particular declaration apply. It is also referred as what? Link between the HTML document and the style sheet. Link between HTML document and style sheet. So it is equivalent to HTML elements. There are several different types of selectors in CSS. Element selector, ID selector, class selector, universal selector, group selector. There are so many selectors that we have discussed already. And see, name some CSS style components. Some CSS style components are what? Selector, property, value. Okay. What is the use of CSS opacity? Yes, somewhere we have discussed, right? Opacity. CSS opacity property is used to what? Specify the transparency of the element, guys. The transparency of the element. In simple word, you can say that it is specifies the clarity of the image. Simply, it is what? Clarity of the image. In technical terms, opacity is defined as the degree to which light is allowed to travel through an object. That is opacity, clarity of the image. Universal selector, guys. Universal selector matches the name of any of the element, any of the element type. Instead of selecting the elements of a specific type, okay, it is applicable to what? It matches the matches name of any of the element type, guys. This is selector, I mean universal selector star. See, which command is used for the selection of all the elements of a paragraph? See, this is plam. It is used to selecting all the elements of paragraph. What is the use of percentage unit? Percentile unit. It is used for defining percentage values. Name of the property used to specify the background color of an element. The background color property is used to specify what? Background color of the element. That is what we know, right? Background color. This is exact code, color code, exact color code. Name the property for controlling the image repetition of the background. Yes, see, none we have used. Generally, the background repeat property repeats the background image horizontally, okay, and vertically. Yes, some images are repeated only horizontally or vertically. So this is our background image URL of that image. See, name of the property for controlling the image position in the background. So yes, the background position property is used to define what initial position of the background image. By default, the background image is planned on the top left of the web page. Yes, background image is generally planned by default on top left of the web page. We can set the following position: center, we can top, bottom, left, right. See, this is a background colon white URL. Background repeat, no repeat like this, no repeat. Background attachment, fixed background position, center. This is how we can set the image at background in different styles. Name the property for controlling the image. Scrolling in the background, guys. What was that, guys? See, name the property for controlling the image. Scroll in the background. The background attachment property is used. The background attachment property is used to specify if the background image, if the background image is fixed or scroll with the rest of the page. If you set fixed the background image, then the image not move. Okay. During scrolling the web page, scrolling the browser. See, this is background white URL, background repeat, no repeat, background attached fixed. Like, what is the use of rule set? The rule set is used to identify that the selectors can be attached with other selectors, guys. Selectors can be attached with other selectors. It has a two parts: selector, declaration block. Selector is what? Selector indicates HTML element you want to style. Declaration block. The declaration block can contain one or more declarations separated by a semicolon, guys. See, selector is what just indicates the HTML element that you want to style, right? A declaration block is what? It contains one or more declarations separated by semicolon. What is the difference between class selector and ID selector, guys? An overall block is given to a class selector, whereas ID selector take only a single element, differing from other elements, guys. Overall block is given to selector, class selector, while ID selectors take only a single element. So the example is given. CSS class selector. And this is particular paragraph. See, single element. This is for single element. This is for whole block. See, what are the advantages of external style sheet? See, you can create a classes for reusing it in the many documents. That's what. There is a very importance and advantage of external style sheets. But you can create a classes for reusing it in many documents. Okay, that can be single document can be applied. That whatever the styles that you have defined under that single document will be applicable to multiple pages. See, by using which we can control the styles of multiple documents from one file. Yes, that's why we can control the styles of multiple documents from one file. From a single file, we can control the styles of multiple documents. See that whatever the styles that you have defined under that external file will be applicable to the different pages. That is what, guys. See, and in complex situations, you can use selectors and grouping methods to apply styles. What's the difference between inline and embedded and external style sheet? That's what we've already discussed, right? Inline means what? We can assign uh, a style to a particular tag, right? See, style to a h1 tag. H1 tag, these styles are applicable to this particular tag name. That's all. Embedded means what? We can define the styles inside the HTML file itself. So using style attribute, within the style we can define different styles, guys. The style tag should be defined in the header tag. External means what? We can define the style sheet as a separate sheet, guys. And there is a link attribute using which we can add that CSS. See, href is there, right? Href attribute value is that CSS, external CSS file. This is how we can link the HTML file and CSS file in external. See, this is used to apply the styles to all the pages within your websites by changing RWD. What is RWD, guys? Responsive web design, right? Responsive web design, which is used to display what? Designed page perfectly on every screen size and the device. Mobile tablets, these are all see desktops, laptops. Okay, you don't need to create a different page for each device. See, what are the benefits of CSS sprites? See, if the web page has a large number of images, okay, and if the web page has a large number of images, that takes, see guys, if a web page has a large number of images, that takes a longer time to load because each image separately sends out the HTML request. Okay, the concept of CSS sprites is used to reduce the loading time. It is used to reduce the loading time for a web page because it combines the various small images into one image. Okay, it reduces the number of HTTP requests and hence the loading time will be reduced, minimized. That is all. See, what are the difference between logical tags and physical tags, guys? Physical tags are referred to as a presentational markup, while logical tags are useless for appearances. Physical tags are newer versions, guys. On the other hand, logical tags are old and concentrate on content. What is CSS box? Yes, what is CSS box model? What is CSS box model is, and what are its elements? Okay. See, the CSS box model is used to what define the design and layout elements of CSS, guys. To design and layout elements of the CSS. The elements are, see, margin, border, padding, content. Okay, margin is what? It removes the area around the border. It removes the area around the border. Border represents the area around the padding. It represents the area around the padding. And padding, it removes the area around the content. See, content, it represents what? The content like text, images, etc. etc. First, margin is what? It removes the area around the border. It is transparent. Border is what? It represents what? It represents what? The area around the padding. Padding means what? It removes the area around the content, like, and it is also transparent. And content, it represents the content like text, images, etc. etc. See, what is the float property of CSS? CSS float property is used to what? Move the image to right or left along with the text to be wrapped around it. It does not change the property of the elements used before it. To understand its purpose and origin, let's take a look at the print display, guys. In the print display, see, the image is set into the page such that the text wraps around it as needed. It is just to move the image, guys. It is just to move the image to the left or right along with the text to be wrapped around it. How to restore the default property value using CSS? Default property value, how to restore? See, in short, there is no easy way to restore the default values to whatever a browser uses. The closest option is to use what? Initial property value, which restores the default CSS value rather than the browser default styles. The closest option is to use what? Initial property value, which restores the default CSS values rather than the browser's default style, like this, default styles. What is the purpose of Z index and how is it used, guys? See, the Z index helps to specify the stack order of the positioned elements that may overlap one another. The Z index default value is 0 and it can take on either a positive or a negative number. An element with a higher Z index is always stacked above the lower index, guys. See, Z index can take the following values: auto, number, initial, inherit. Okay, auto is what? It says the stack order equal to its parents. Number orders the stack order, and initial, it sets the property to its default value, that is 0. Inherit inherits this property from its parent element. So explain the difference between visibility hidden and displays none. Visibility hidden means what, guys? It hides the element, right? Yeah, but it occupies the space and affects the layout document. Yes, it occupies the space, but though it hides the element, okay, it occupies some space that affects to the layout of the document, guys. Visibility hidden. See, visibility is hidden. And display none is what? It do not occupies any space, guys. Okay. See, it hides the element but not occupies space. It will not affect the layout of the document. Okay. It displays as there is no element at back, because it don't have any. It do not have any occupy any. See, display colon none. Display colon none. As we don't have elements. What do you understand by W3C, guys? W3C stands for what? World Wide Web Consortium. Okay. Its purpose is to what? Deliver the information of the World Wide Web. It is also develops rules, guidelines for the web. See, guys, twinning. It is a process of generating what? Intermediate frames between the two images. Process of generating intermediate frames between two images. And it gives the impression that the first image has smoothly evolved into a second one. And it is an important method used in all the types of animations, guys. All the types of animations. It is an important method used in all types of animations. See, in CSS3, transforms like matrix, translate, rotate, scale modules can be used to what? Achieve twinning. These are the different modules by using which we can achieve what? Twinning. It is a process of generating what? Intermediate frames between two images. See, it just gives the impression that the first image has smoothly evolved into the second image. Like, what is the difference between CSS2 and CSS3? The main difference between CSS2 and CSS3 is that CSS3 is divided into different sections, which are also known as what? Modules. The CSS3 is divided into different sections, right? Which we call them as modules. Unlike CSS2, CSS3 modules are supported by many web browsers. Many web browsers are supported. It supports the new features of what? Or the different modules of what? CSS3. Apart from that, CSS3 contains what? New general combinations. Combinators, yes. We discussed already. Which is responsible for matching the what? Sibling elements with the given elements. Now see here, how will you differentiate CSS3 and CSS? Explain with a few examples here. See, CSS3 is the latest update version of CSS. And with new tags, just now we have discussed, right? that take it to the whole new level. Okay, some of these specialities include around corners, animations, layout, and media queries. Okay, like we have moved from CSS1 to CSS2, CSS 2.1 to 3 and 4, guys. Fine, specification will define how to use them in the future respectively. Like these are the different features that we have, okay, in CSS3, guys. What is considered the creator of the CSS? Who is considered as a creator of CSS, guys? Hack and VM. Hack and VM League, yes. Is the first proposed the concept of what CSS. Right? This is the creator. He is the creator. And explains the box model in CSS elements from it. It is a box. See, guys, it is a core fundamental what in understanding of what web layout and sizing of the web document with learning, with height, padding, margin, border. Like these are all the box model layout properties, guys. See, margin, border, padding, content. That's what border. Like, see, can you make border rounded with CSS3? Is it possible? Yes, yes. There are new border radius, okay, property, border radius property, from which we provide a rounded corner to any element. See, how are colors used in accordance with what? CSS3. CSS3, all corners, okay, pertaining to what? RGBA style, HLS colors. RGBA stands for what? Red, green, blue, alpha. HSL stands for what? Yes, hue, situation, lightness. Like how to use front property in CSS3, guys. How to use front property in CSS3. Let us say CSS3, there are provisions to use what? That provision to use fonts that are not installed in the user system. There is a new font face property which allows to what? Any fonts. Like these are all this. Just go through it. And there is one more. There is a term being extensively used with what? CSS3, that WebKit. So this is one of the framework of CSS, right? One of the framework of CSS. See, many modern browsers are based on what? WebKit, okay? Which is one of the framework for CSS. It's like Bootstrap, which is a software engine component, okay, for rendering web pages in the web browsers like Chrome, Safari. These are different browsers, right?